Hello class, welcome to Rtvf 160 Intro to Cinema. My name is Cy Cookenbaker. I am your instructor. We're going to go through the syllabus right now. I think there's 4 pages and we're going to bust through this thing, okay? At the top you got my contact information. I'm not going to go through all the bits and pieces, but you'll notice I am on Facebook. If that's convenient for you, you can use that, phone, email, etc. Office hours, if you're in San Diego and you want to meet face-to-face, they're right there. I will let you read the course description, and I'll let you read the learning outcomes. Let's jump to the orange box, okay? This is the schedule for the course, the film schedule, and you might notice 2 things about it. One is that it's in terms of the films are in reverse chronological order. In other words, we start with newer films and we go backwards in history. The design of the course is primarily about American cinema, but not exclusively. You'll notice that about 2/3 in, we have kind of a unit of foreign films, important movements. Besides that, you'll also notice that to the right of each film, there's a little note that says Amazon Instant Videos CC available. This is the really important thing that is part of my responsibility. I have to make sure the films are available within easy access and that they're closed captioned for those who need it. So I've worked really hard to do 2 things to make sure it's affordable. All the films on the list are available through Amazon Instant Streaming. You can rent them for the HD version, $3.99, for the SD version, $2.99. So I worked hard to keep the class affordable. Beyond that, you are absolutely welcome to find the films via other resources. That includes Netflix DVD, local libraries, the school library, and so forth. It is your responsibility to secure the films, to get the films, and to follow the schedule, okay? So if you're having trouble getting the films, you need to work on that right away. All right, next page. Look how fast we're moving. Okay, this is usually the thing that students are most curious about when a course starts, is like how does the class work, right? So this big blue box right here is the class format. And I try to keep it really simple. This is basically how this course works. On Monday, I make all the material for that week available online. You have until Sunday, 6.5 days later, Sunday at midnight, to complete all of the work. Okay? Now each week you'll have a total of 5 points possible that you can earn through that week's assignments. Okay? So a typical week you'll see a lecture from me. There'll be a PDF, a PowerPoint to support that information, so sort of the notes of the lecture. And then there's the film itself, and once all that's done, you'll take a very short post-assessment test. I'm going to say that again, post-assessment test, usually 2 questions, sometimes 3 questions, maybe 1 question. Those questions are worth points, right? And it will say how much it's worth each time you see them. And then you'll do a small writing assignment each week in the class forum, okay? Both of those last 2 things, the forum and the post-assessment, have points associated with them, and that's how you earn your points per week. Each week 5 points are possible. The course goes for 16 weeks. That equals 80 points. Now there are also 3 quizzes. Each quiz is worth 15 points. And if you put the 3 quizzes together, that's the final exam, and the final is worth 45 points. So in short, the key to success in this class is to complete each week's assignment on time before Sunday, when those assignments close and the points are no longer available after that. The materials remain available. You can always find the videos. You'll always be able to find the PowerPoints. But your ability to get points for the assignments ends at the end of that week. There's one exception to this. The last week of class, we will go from Monday to Friday. So you'll only have until Friday midnight to complete the last week. The last week you'll have the regular assignments, the film viewing, and you'll have a final exam. And all of those have to be done between Monday and Friday. Okay. Now, there's some other very important details in here. So this is your responsibility to read this and make sure you understand it. If you have questions about any of this stuff on the syllabus, to your right in that big menu right there, it's not a big menu, it's actually a small menu, you'll see that there is a little space that says Student Lounge. Inside the Student Lounge, there's a forum. The thread is called Questions. If you have a question at any time during the course, you can just drop the question in there and then I'll get back to you. It's a great way, if you have a question, chances are someone else has the same question, so it makes it accessible. If you have a question that you want to be more discreet about or you feel private about, write me an email, phone call, Facebook. Okay. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, another important detail. Here in the third paragraph of this blue box, all assignments are they can only be turned in via Blackboard. Okay, so don't send me emails with Word documents or PDFs. It all has to come through Blackboard. All right, let's jump to this next page. The top green box is the measurement system. I kind of already went over this, but just one more time. Each week there's 5 points. There are 3 quizzes. They come out to 45. There's one final, that's 45. So roughly speaking, this semester, and this will vary, we have about 170 points possible. You'll be able to see the tally in real time all the time, so you'll be able to track your grade. And the final grade is a percentage of those points. So if you have 90% of the total, you get an A. If you have 80% of the total, you get a B, and so forth. Okay? All right, let's jump down here to attendance. Now this is quite important. The little blue box right here. I don't keep attendance, the way you would in a normal class, obviously, because this is a virtual class, but I'm still doing a similar measurement. And the way that it works is basically it's your activity. Logging into Blackboard does not count as participation or activity. The only way I know you're actually doing anything is by completing assignments. And specifically this week, for example, you will have a post-film, post-lecture assessment that's 2 or 3 questions in multiple choice form, and the forum. If you don't complete either of those, you were not here. You were not in the class. And I will write you an email to see what's going on. If the same thing happens next week, then as far as I'm concerned, you're not in the class and I drop you. Okay? It is your responsibility after that drop date, that official drop date, to drop yourself or to withdraw from the course. If you vaporize in the middle of the semester and I start to record a bunch of zeros for you, at the end of the semester you get a letter grade on your transcript. Okay, so pay close attention to that stuff. It happens every semester that somebody gets kind of stuck. Okay, let's jump to this last page. Is it the last page? It's the last page. This is fast. We're doing this quick, right? Alright, looks like this. It says writing assignment rubric. Each week you are going to be doing a small writing assignment, and I do grade it, of course. If you want to know, like, well, what am I looking for? This is it. This is my guide for grading your work. And if you want to really just break it down to the simplest point, read the very first bullet point at the very top one to get an A. That is my #1 priority in terms of what you're doing in your writing. So I'm going to read it. It says, student illustrates an excellent understanding of the material by contextualizing it critically and or personally. Does not simply recite facts or duplicate other students. Okay, here's how to do this. Every week, within the week, I'll say week 1, week 2, week 3, you'll see the form. I will give you a prompt. I'll say, hey, talk about this, think about this, write a paragraph about that. Here's how I want you to actually do it. You go and you look and you'll see my prompt at the top. Okay, copy it and paste it into a Word document, print it out, something like that. But get off the web. Just duplicate the information and then get away from the internet. Do not immediately start to scroll down and look to see what other students wrote, right? Because that's going to contaminate your own ideas, which is the worst thing you can do. So get away from the internet, put it in a Word document, and then just let it cook for a second. Just walk away, take a walk, go for a swim, do something else. And just think about what I'm asking and give me back an authentic answer. And what I'm looking for is critical thinking. I'm looking for point of view. Who are you? What's your experience? How do you understand this? Do you like this? Do you dislike this? Why? Right? That's the aim of the critical thinking portion. Okay? And again, last time on this, please just do not duplicate other students' sort of thoughts. It's just not, there's going to be 60 people in this class. Right? So if I see that every week you simply just duplicate someone else's work, it's going to affect your grade. And perhaps more importantly, this system has a built-in, I don't know what to call it. It's a piece of software that it looks for plagiarism, right? So it just looks to see if you're just duplicating text, and it sends me an alert. So if you're trying to cut corners and you think that you can just duplicate someone else's work, it doesn't work, and I don't even have to look for it. The machine just tells me it's happening. Alright, we don't have to worry about that because you guys are good people. Down here it says DSPS. This is very important. If you have any issues and you need me to accommodate you, I'm more than happy to do that. Here's how you actually do it though. First step is reach out to the DSPS office. There's 3 parties involved in these things. You talk to DSPS, they are the professionals. They work on the solution and then they tell me what to do and I do it and that's it, right? So just let them know and I will do everything I can to get things squared away. Due process, read that. I'm not going to read it for you. And we're back to page 1. So again, welcome to RTVF 160. I am your instructor. My name is Cy Cookenbaker. I'm going to say that again, Cy Cookenbaker. Feel free to address me as Cy. You don't have to call me Professor or Mr. Cookenbaker or any of the other stuff, unless that's your personal preference. So I think we're good to go. Last note, I'm going to say this one more time, is that I sort of just hit the highlights in this document. This is still your responsibility to read and understand. If you have questions, you need clarity, right over there in that menu, there's that little thing that says Student Lounge. In there is a thread that says questions. Just reply to that, drop your question, and I'll get back to you and try and clear it up for you. All right. We're good.